This is Entrepreneurs Get Visible, the podcast for people who want more impact, influence, and income. I'm Anna Parker-Naples, and I'll be sharing with you proven methods from leading entrepreneurs that help you get visible as an authority in your field. Because anything's possible when you get visible. Hey, today I've got a topic that I want to talk to you about that's kind of close to my heart at the moment. And that is about how and why your business is speaking to you and what you need to do about the fact that it's speaking to you. Often we get so wrapped up in doing the things that we think we should be doing, potentially getting caught up in what feels like the rat race in the online space to achieve more, to get the same targets everyone else feels as though that, or it looks as though they are achieving. And very often when this happens, we're losing sight of actually what matters to us. Now, I went to an amazing conference last night. Not last night. My words are all over the place. And you're going to find out a little bit about why I'm unfocused right now today. So I went to an amazing event last Sunday. So a week ago now, just over a week ago. And it was EMC, which is the Entrepreneurs Marketing Conference. And it was absolutely brilliant. It's run by Einstein Marketing. And I knew at that conference, there were so many great connections for me. And I did network, and a few bits of business have come up as a result of being there. And I made some great connections, potentially some podcasting events that we're going to co-run with some of my, I'm not going to say the word competitors, peers is what I'm going to say instead. But really throughout the weekend, from about 3 hours before I got in the car, lots of my personal life was starting to unravel. Now, I'm a mum of 3 children who are ages right now 11, 13 and 16. They just started back at schools. 2 of them had gone to new schools. My husband and I, we've both had a parent that has been very close to passing. They're with us currently, but very close to passing over the last couple of months. And it's just been a lot. It's been a lot. On top of that, as I'm recording this, we have right now the petrol shortages and we've got gas prices, all sorts of weird things are happening. And my husband works in energy. And so the real pressures of what's going on in that industry are hitting our environment hard, and the pressures are on us. Now, I went away to this event. I was really excited about it, but actually a bit nervous because I knew how much stuff was going on at home. And I'll be honest, hands up, I find it really hard to go away and leave my family. It's not an easy thing to do. I know I always have a great time once I'm gone, but actually getting around to doing that is challenging. And I was aware that over the last few months, pressure has been mounting. I've really had to go into my self-care. And I would love to know from any of you who are listening today, if this is something that's been going on for you as well. You've been looking after other people for so long. There's been stress. There's been stuff going on. And it's all got a little bit too much. And what happens for me is that I end up not going to bed on time. I stay up late, and then I lie in the mornings. I don't do all of the self-care stuff that's really important, even though I know I need it. And I sat at this conference and there were some amazing speakers. A lot of it very content driven. So all about YouTube ads and YouTube domination. There was one of my peers/friends who's actually been on Entrepreneurs Get Visible. James Burt was the podcast expert on stage that day. And it was great. It was great to see somebody else really passionate about that audio field. And remember, I'm not the only person banging that drum, which it can sometimes feel like. But I knew there was so much more business on the table, but I didn't have it in me to actually go out of my way to network. And that was a little bit frustrating. And the reason was I was just dealing with so much stuff. And one of the speakers, in fact, he was the MC for the event, was a chap called Pete Cohen, who has his own podcast. And I will be getting him on this show shortly. And I believe a long time ago, he was resident life coach on, I think it was GMTV. And he, throughout the couple of days that I was there, was sharing some quite deep stories about his background and why his work really matters to him. And one of the things he kept saying was, your business is talking to you. Your business is speaking to you. It's up to you to listen. And what's been interesting for me, hearing that, I don't know why, even saying that out loud again now, it's kind of giving me the chills. It gave me that moment of realizing that, one, how grateful I am how appreciative I am of the fact that I have built this business that allows me to step out of the business very quickly. Several of my team members, some of them are listening right now, reached out and said, we're here for you. We've got this. Don't do anything if you don't need to. Only show up if you absolutely feel you have to. We've got you. That's a really powerful thing to have said back to you when you know you kind of reached this crisis point. But I reached crisis point because of that thing that Pete said. It made me realize that actually I'm extremely grateful that I've built this business that allows me to deal with all the pressures that are going on around. I'm not constantly on. And whilst my business is about visibility and it's about being heard, actually there are vast amounts of time I don't show up because stuff's going on at home, and the gratitude that I have for that. And it is inevitable as business owners, as entrepreneurial leaders, that we are going to have times where we wobble, where stuff happens in our lives, because our businesses aren't separate to our lives. They are integral. And I had this really powerful realization that actually my priorities are always going to be to show up for my family in those moments of crisis, right? And for whatever reason, those moments of crisis have been compounded and have gone on, and it's been an extended period of time, and that now is the time to look after myself. So I down-tooled completely last week, because what my business was saying to me, the things that I needed to hear was, one, it's safe and okay to take a break. And two, there were some things I was avoiding addressing in my business because things had become really easy. And they were things that and I'm not ready to share all of those with you right now, but you will see a slight twist to my work over the next however many months. And some of it I'll talk to you about now, and some of it you maybe just have to watch and listen a little bit closer. But I realised that because of some of the things that I'm really passionate about, I was effectively ignoring where I have carved out for myself the ability to be one of a kind. And I was falling into a trap that I created for myself of essentially being other people's competitor. And I wasn't actually trying to serve and reach the clients that actually I can have the most impact with. And I've known this for a while, and I feel as though I constantly have had in the past this division in myself as to who I'm serving and why it really matters to me. And something as a result of that phrase, your business is speaking to you, it's up to you to listen, really hit me, because building streams in my business that allow me to go at the pace I need to when life stuff happens, that allows me to be there for my family, whether that's my children, my parents, my siblings, and the extended family, whether that's when a friend has a crisis and I want to be there to help them, that means way more to me than going after the big hard-hitting figures. And because of the pressure that's on me at home, I'd fallen into that trap of thinking that I wasn't doing well enough. I was not, because I haven't yet hit a particular figure. And I'm seeing other people around me, some of my friends, achieve those things. And I was starting to think, well, what about me? Have I got my offers wrong? What have I done wrong? And actually, I'm doing everything right, but I hadn't been listening to myself. I hadn't actually been listening to what's really important to me about my work. And I actually left that conference early. I literally broke down in, fortunately, quite quiet tears during that talk, because I just had this overwhelming need to take stock, listen to my business, listen to my life, because as I said, they are not separate entities, and do what I needed to do to look after myself so that I could open up to whatever comes next. And I felt like I've been in this rebirthing, painful rebirthing, maybe even a gestation period for a while, not knowing what's coming, but something's shifting in me. And I actually left that event pretty soon after I started crying. And I actually shed a lot of tears on the journey between Brighton and Bedfordshire. But it was very therapeutic. And I made the decision that I needed to let other people know I'm struggling right now. Now, you see me a week later, a week after that, and I'm in a very different place because I allowed myself to go in. I allowed myself to retreat. Now, it was uncomfortable because that happening for me in my personal life was also while I was launching. So I have a choice. Do I beat myself up over the fact that this is happening? Or do I trust that this is part of the next process? And as a result of giving myself that space to become resilient, giving myself space to journal, space to listen to different content that is less entrepreneurial and much more about listening to yourself and looking after your mindset, because I gave myself that space, I feel like I've had a breakthrough now. I feel as though I've looked after myself enough to see what is there after the storm. And I know many of you are out there and your business is telling you something and you're ignoring it, okay? Because you think that's the only path for you. And I want you to just be open to the fact that maybe there's something else, maybe there's something bigger, maybe there's something grander just around the corner. And actually now that I've stopped beating myself up, the potential, the opportunities are all sitting there, and they have been for some time. I just haven't had my eyes wide open enough to own what I do and be open to slightly different opportunities. So I'm now in a place where I know I still have to really look after myself. I have to go deep and consistent in my self-care for a period of time to get me through the challenges that I have at home that aren't going to go away at the snap of my fingers. Having said that, the fact that I've built a business where I can remove myself for a while, should I need to, is an incredible thing to have done. And being honest about myself, about what my personal targets are and why. And for me, when I get caught up in the hustle, when I get caught up in the competing, I forget myself. And I want you to notice if you do this too. Because what would it be like if you remembered why you began? And for me, it's this. I set out to do whatever I'm doing now to reach more people with the message that they can think and behave differently. But sometimes I forget myself. And sometimes I think that the reason I fall asleep to that message is so that I can powerfully waken up to it again and share it again and again and again. Because this work is never a done deal. My business had been talking to me in terms of the direction I wanted to go, in terms of the audience I wanted to reach, in terms of the clients I wanted to serve, in terms of the products and offers I wanted to have on the table. But I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening because I was getting caught up in some vanity metrics. So for you today, I want you to think, maybe go journal around this. Maybe think about this on a walk where you're not distracted by all sorts of other social media, where you're not distracted from the other things in your life. What is your business saying to you? And if the shit that you're going through right now, if it was actually so that you could learn that thing, notice that thing quicker, no matter how painful it feels like for you right now, what would be the lesson? What would be the thing? And it might just allow you to open up and become more expansive. And I want you to remember this. When your business has a purpose and when it has a mission and it has a message, you don't need to run the race. You don't need to get competitive with others. You need to focus on your own path, and you need to notice those nudges as well when things aren't working. Why aren't they working? And what happens if them not working is actually a gift to you? I'd love you to reach out to me and let me know what hearing this today has done for you. What's the thing you know you need to change or you need to listen to and stop blocking in your business and in your life so that you can get back on mission, get back to being passionate and get back to looking after yourself? One of the things that I've really noticed over the last few months is that I often feel on for business. And we can't always be on. There's got to be more. And when I journal around what I really want for my life, it's to show people that you have choice about how you behave as well as how you think. So if I'm not out there having adventure and having fun and connecting with people, then my life isn't as exciting. My life isn't as happy. So we have choices. And I'd love to know what choices you're going to choose anew. Because my God, I have some incredible stuff up my sleeve that I now feel connected to. that I now feel that I can own, and I can walk in my own path at my own time. I hope this has been useful. I hope someone out there has heard this today and it's been exactly what you've needed to hear. And I would love to hear back from you if that's you.
Thank you for listening to Entrepreneurs Get Visible. To get your free checklist on how to raise your profile and to find out about our community, go to annaparkernaples.co.uk/get visible.